We now switch to the topic of marketing. Marketing is very important, and we're all affected by marketing. We tend to think of marketing as just advertising and promotions, but I hope to show you in the next several videos that marketing is much more than the simple advertising and much more pervasive than maybe you first thought. Here are some of the things that marketing includes. Defining the product. What product are we going to make? How is it suited for the customers that we're looking at? Pricing. Pricing can be pretty complex. A lot of factors go into pricing, much more than, well, let's put it on sale kind of things, or buy one, get one. Looking at who our customers are, identifying them, and what characteristics do they have? How do we reach them? And then getting the promotions to reach them. Delivery. How do we get it to our products? Dealing with the coronavirus. How do I get them to my customer when they're not coming to my store? And how do I get stuff to my store? Customer relationships. We tend to think of marketing as just selling a product, but it can be much more. But in the end, what we want to think about is delighting the customer. We want the customers not just to be satisfied, we want them to be delighted. Think about that when you buy some products. Are you really, really happy with it, or is it just okay? You ever buy a product and you go, wow, this is better than I even thought it would be. That's delighting the customer. Now, we talk about satisfying the customer in terms of the book and things, but really what we talk about, as I said, delighting the customer. You want to go beyond just satisfying the customer. Now, a couple of very important concepts to understand. When we talk about the target market for a product, we're talking about the customers. Who are the potential customers that we want? What are their characteristics? What ages are they? What kind of things do they like to do? What kind of activities do they engage in? Now, there's two types of markets. One is a consumer market, and that's the one we are typically involved in, where we buy stuff. But there's also the commercial market. There's businesses that buy from other businesses. You go to a Home Depot and they got their pro shop for the contractors and things like that. So there are separate markets, and the marketing to them is different. Important concept to know is the market share. The market share is the firm's percentage of the total market that buy that product. So, for example, General Motors, at least used to, have a 20% market share. That means of all the cars sold in the United States, 20% were General Motors. Apple at one time, their computer market share for laptops and computers was something under 10%. I tend to think of them as being very big, but in overall volume, they're not. So market share is very important. It's very important for how much pricing power you potentially have, follow-on products that you might have. Market share is a big, big measure of how well and how successful your marketing is. And then we'll find again, there's probably some companies that aren't looking for a big market share. Gucci, for example, may not want a big market share of scarves, but it depends upon how you define your market. Right? That goes back to the target market. If my target market is people with incomes over $200,000 or $300,000, then maybe Gucci cares about a bigger market share. So market share is very much relevant to the target market that we're looking at. Now, we can talk about a target market. Let's suppose we're talking about women's handbags. That's a big market. And not all women have the same needs. We want to divide that target market up into smaller groups. That allows us to focus on those different groups and provide them with the products and the marketing to make sure that we're successful. And we can break them up into 4 particular categories. One is demographics. Age. Take the women example. My target market is women who purchase handbags. Well, I could have a market segment that is targeted to women under the age of 16. I can target women who are under 16 and have children. Not under 16 and have children. That would not be good, but you can target them, I guess. No, you can target women ages 30 to 40 who have children, small children. Their handbags are going to be different, and how you reach them is going to be different than the women that are under 16. I can target women who are ages 40 to 50 who have incomes greater than $100,000. You can see that the characteristics of each of those segments is very, very different. I can also segment my market by geographic area. People in the South and Florida have very different needs than maybe people in Washington State. Think of a business like insurance. The products I sell in Florida probably have insurance that covers things like hurricanes and flooding a lot more than the products and services I might sell in Washington State. The products I sell in Hawaii are going to be different than those in Alaska. The customer's needs in India are going to be different than those in Costa Rica. And so we can segment by geographics. We can do geographics and demographics. Women in India, women in Saudi Arabia. Behavioral. This deals to things like attitudes and how often we buy things. Are we frequent buyers of or airline travel, for example? What do we care about? Attitudes? Do we care about the environment? Do we care about being animal friendly? And then we have psychographics. Another fun party word. What are we interested in? Do we like the Yankees? Do we like the Green Bay Packers? What do we care about? Those sorts of things. And clustering. Obviously, as I said, we can combine multiple things. We can care about women who care about the environment. We can target men over the age of 50 with incomes greater than $100,000 who are Green Bay Packer fans. So we can create different market segments. And the importance of that is going to be that we are going to use these market segments to refine how we market. All the things I talked about earlier. Okay, now you try it. How might you segment the market for these products? Let's start with cars. Yes, you with the great hair.
Well, you could segment the market by people with kids. You could also segment it by people under the age of 30 with incomes less than $40,000 a year.
Great. How about the market for shoes? Nemo?
I would have a segment that for professional women who make more than $100,000 a year. Another segment would be for construction workers. Oh, there are lots of possible different segments for shoes.
You're absolutely right. You sound like a little fish out of water there, Nemo.
Well, I am Nemo, after all.
All right, there are a lot of different segments. How about the market for shampoo? Is that you, Ariel?
Yes, it's me. I just changed my hair color. Do you like it? Oh, yes. Okay, segments for shampoo. One segment could be for parents with small children. That segment, you can't get that shampoo in their eyes because it stings. So, yeah, that would be a good segment. A different segment would be for maybe people with curly hair. That might be a shampoo segment.
Good ideas. Yeah, nice hair, Ariel. In our next video, we'll look at the marketing mix and apply it to our market segmentation ideas.